How's it going, everyone? My name is Steven, and I am here bringing you today's investigation. So this week we talked about the book of John, chapter 10, verses 2 through 4. And we talked about how Jesus is like a shepherd, and a shepherd is someone who takes care of sheep. And the sheep recognize the shepherd's voice, and they feel safe and comfortable around him. So we talked about this idea of the voices of people we recognize in our own lives, like you would recognize your teacher or your parents, and you feel safer around the people that you spend a lot of time with. You recognize their voice. So we talked about the idea of recognizing God's voice in a similar way to how the sheep recognize the shepherd's voice. So when we can recognize what God is telling us, it helps us fight fear because we know that God knows what's best for us. And so the way to understand more what God tries to tell us is by reading Scripture, the Bible, and by praying. And there are a few other ways, like if you want to talk with people who are maybe further along in their relationship with God than you are, maybe someone older than you who you know has been a Christian. These are great ways to get to know God a little bit more. Now, there are also these voices that aren't exactly the best, that get stuck in our heads sometimes. They make us think things like, oh man, there's just no way I could ever pass this test, even though I've been studying so hard for it. Or there's just no way that my team can beat the other team at this game. And there are lots of ways that these things can kind of bring us down, and they make us kind of either nervous or sad or fearful. But when we listen to God, when we know what His voice is telling us, when we train by reading the Bible and praying more to Him so that we can know what it is that God is telling us, we can start to shut out those negative thoughts and only focus on the thoughts that are important. And those thoughts are the ones that come from God. So that's what we need to put into practice. When we want to fight fear, we should start by praying. We got to practice praying. So make sure you're spending time praying. And you can do it anytime, anywhere, just like we said in this week's episode. All right, see you next time.